name is LoeyLane, and I'm so excited to tell you guys about my new podcast, Internet Urban Legends, with my BFF Snitchery.
We deep dive into the darkest corners of the internet to uncover whether some of the most notorious web myths are hoax or whether they're con. Internet Urban Legends, available exclusively on Spotify.
Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, hello, my name is Loey. So today we're taking a break from the scary side of TikTok and the disturbing YouTube icebergs and everything like that, and we're turning to something a bit more innocent, at least on the surface, specifically video games about SpongeBob. One of my absolute favorite categories of YouTube videos to watch are people who find like disturbing or weird things out of bounds of video games. And I noticed that for whatever reason, there were a lot of creepy, disturbing finds in Spongebob games. So today we're going to be exploring all of my favorite ones and just deep diving into them. But before we get into today's video, we do have a sponsor. Thanks so much to my besties over at Hunt-A-Killer for sponsoring today's video. I love Hunt-A-Killer. It's something I order myself. It's something I really enjoy doing. And the holidays are right around the corner, and Hunt-A-Killer makes the perfect gift for yourself or any other person in your life who wants to kind of shine their inner detective skills. Hunt-A-Killer is a mystery game that gets you off of your phone and gets that little brain of yours working. The premise of the current mystery is so interesting, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of background without spoiling anything. Let's travel over to the small town of Mallory Rock, Maine, where Beth Ferris Hendrick's death has just been ruled an accident. Her sister Gwen, though, has reason to believe that it was anything but innocent. Gwen decides she's going to set out to prove that Beth was murdered. And she's known the people in this small New England town her whole life. And that's where our help comes into play. Together, we will expose her hometown and uncover all the secrets that exist on Mallory Rock. You know, there are some people out there who would say, oh God, that sounds terrible. What, like a sad thing? I don't want to think about that. But you and we want to get to the bottom of the mystery. And that's why we're friends, I think, because you would never let me solve a cold case on my own. Speaking of cold cases, a proceed of all purchases from Hunt-A-Killer go to the Cold Case Foundation, a real-life organization that is focused on solving real-life cold cases. While Hunt-A-Killer is a great escape for so many of us to play a game and get off our phones and get our brains working, I love that they also support real-world causes. If you want to give Hunt-A-Killer a try today, go to huntakiller.com/Loey and use code Loey for 10% off your first Hunt-A-Killer box. Once again, that is huntakiller.com/Loey and code Loey for 10% off of your first Hunt-A-Killer box. Thanks, Hunt-A-Killer, for sponsoring today's video. And now let's get into the weird story I have to talk about today. I know I said it before that today's video topic may seem a bit niche, or like, how can there be that many weird things going on in SpongeBob games? But they have this bizarre pattern in history of containing really dark and weird hidden secrets for children's video games. It's gonna get strange, so I'm just gonna get into example one, which I think is the most lighthearted of this entire list. And that is also, I think, the most popular one, the one I'm pretty sure you'll all be the most familiar with because it went the most viral, and that is Yummer. Yummer went crazy viral online after it was discovered in a game that specifically I think was on the Australian Nickelodeon website called SpongeBob Saves the Day. And this secret went really viral, like I said. People all over the internet were making videos about it, specifically Oddheader, who once again is one of my favorite YouTubers. I'll have a lot of his original videos on these things linked down below. Most of these were found through him. But let me set the scene for you. A man named Timon Turner, who prides himself on archiving like SpongeBob art for funsies. That's just like what he does. He finds interesting SpongeBob art and he archives it. He's going through all the files of SpongeBob Saves the Day back in, I want to say 2020, maybe 2019. When he finds something so disturbing, he skedaddles into Oddheader's Discord to talk about it. While Timon was going through the art files of this game, he found one located within the Krusty Krab that seemed a little bit off, and one that he did not recognize by the name of it. It was titled as Yummer, and upon opening the file, this is what Timon Turner found. This is not something that belongs in a Spongebob game. Yummer is an off-color humanoid creature with a wide, disturbing grin filled with teeth and no eyelids. Now, Yummer consists of two images, actually, two different files. The head and also two little hands gripping onto a wall as though he's pulling himself over and peering at someone from behind it. And no one really knew what this was at the time. It was going really viral and people were speculating, but everyone just chalked it up to some weird Easter egg that never actually made it into the game. Now, luckily, because I'm recording this so long after it was originally found, now the developer has been contacted specifically again by Oddheader. Yummer ended up being a lot more innocent than most people believed. Rather than being a jump scare, Yummer was simply a placeholder for an Easter egg that was never implemented. So it would seem that it was just a joke among developers, just like this creepy file meant to sit there until they had something else to replace it. Which makes me wonder how many really bizarre things have held spaces in video games before they implemented, let's say, a mushroom for Mario or something. I don't think I want to know what all of those looks like. However, this first game is kind of a 2-in-1 because Yummer was not the only thing that was discovered within the game SpongeBob Saves the Day. There was another bizarre unused asset of Sandy Cheeks, who a lot of you may know is a squirrel who is a mammal, duh, and because she's from above the ocean, she can't breathe underwater. She relies on her high-tech oxygen suit to survive. So imagine everyone's surprise when they found an unused asset of this entire suit mangled on the ground. The fishbowl of oxygen that she uses to survive smashed onto the ground. It would appear that Sandy met an untimely fate, which could suggest to this game being darker than initially intended. At best, maybe it was just a really weird Easter egg that never was implemented because it is really disturbing for a children's video game. Okay, number 2. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. So this game for the PS1 is actually one that I played from this list. Some of these, well, most of them actually, except for this one, I've never really played before. But I have played this one, baby, on my PS1. I used to jump around and jump on the jellyfish and try to collect the golden spatulas. That game is SpongeBob Super Sponge. This game is kind of just like a collectible run with some light storyline as far as I remember. So I think that's why everyone was so surprised when they found in the files of the game that there was some really disturbing art left in. Think like Rule 34 level disturbing. Think like I can't even show you a censored, blurred version of it without immediately getting demonetized, so I'm not going to. One of these developers, I cannot emphasize this enough. One of the developers of this game, or someone who worked on it, drew SpongeBob and Patrick in compromising positions, put it into the game as a gag, and it made it into the final version of a children's video game. Of course, this is never something that the people who played this game would ever see. It's never something anyone would see unless they had access to crawling through the files of the game, which wasn't really something you could just do on the PlayStation 1. So it was hidden deep within these video game files, and only really developers had a means to access it until pretty recently, when we learned how to data mine video games and other forms of media. But still really weird and sinister, I think, that it was left inside of a children's video game. This third example of disturbing stuff that we have found in SpongeBob Games, if you are not already clicked out of this video because what in the heck, this third one takes it up a notch. This was from Nicktoons Attack of the Toy Bots, and from what I understand, it was like a Nickelodeon all-inclusive side scroller where you could play different Nicktoons characters, participate in different little battles against these toys that have gone rabid, essentially. Of course, since it's Nickelodeon characters, SpongeBob inevitably made it into the game. And you already know where this is going because it's on this list. So the mystery wasn't even uncovered until it was played on a Dolphin emulator. We've started seeing a lot of emulators for different consoles pop up over the years, and Dolphin, I think, is primarily used for GameCube and Wii games. In a video game, a traditional video game, usually the camera follows you around. Unless you can move it specifically, the camera stays in one place and you might be able to control it a bit, but you can't just freeform move it everywhere. And that's why these emulators have allowed us to kind of boundary break and see a lot of new things in older games that developers probably never thought we would. including a message that was seen just out of the player's view in Attack of the Toy Bots. While playing as SpongeBob, when you were fighting against Mr. Snuggles, a cardboard box for this toy can be found like out of bounds. Basically, it's like you're in the factory and his box is out of bounds, obviously. Now the image is flipped upside down and it's pretty grainy because again, no one ever thought you were gonna see this. But when sharpened and flipped the right side back up, it reads as follows. I'll hug you and I'll kill you. You'll never sleep again. I'll kill your parents. Once again, this wasn't something that most players of the game ever would have seen, but especially not in its popularity. They could not have ever seen it. It isn't even something anyone can see without a boundary-breaking emulator. But why was this left in the final product of a game played by children? Why are developers so obsessed with leaving like creepy stuff like this just out of reach? Is it an inside joke, a way to blow off steam while developing a game about, I don't know, a talking sea sponge? Or is it something darker? This one in particular might be the most sinister on this list to me. I mean, saying, I'll kill your parents. You know you are literally talking about a kid who's playing this game. I was that kid, probably, if I had known this was out. It's just weird. Number 4 comes from the game SpongeBob Tidy Whitey Tumble. And I know that I'm literally like 28 years old and saying Tidy Whitey shouldn't be funny to me. Luckily, the find is anything but funny, so the laughs pretty much ended there. In this game, it's basically like Angry Birds, I guess, in a way. You launch SpongeBob into the air by literally giving him a wedgie. And then you see what items you can collect, how far you can go in these different levels, etc. It seems simple enough. A really, really basic kind of mechanic of launching him into the air to complete these levels and obstacles, which is why it was so weird when an unused piece of art was found within the files of the game. It features a grotesque version of SpongeBob, enraged and almost like zombified in a way. He's disfigured and creepy here, and looks as though he's screaming at something. Like I said, this looks like a zombie version of our beloved Sponge mascot, which begs the question, what would this even have been used for? The mechanics are so simple. You're just giving the man a wedgie and he's flying into the air. In what world would he have needed to make this animation? Okay, last but not least is a slightly stinky discovery. On DidYouKnowGaming 2's channel, I stumbled across something really interesting that was in the original SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom game. Specifically, the one for PlayStation 2 was referenced, but I think this was an asset that would have gone across all boards. Apparently on Twitter, a former THQ employee came forward to say that they had used some less than orthodox means to get one of the specific textures within the game. It was far from a drawn art piece. In fact, it was a photo of something. It was a photo of something smelly. A smelly smell that smells smelly. Yeah, the texture for the palm tree fawns, I guess, were literal feces that were morphed into leaves and just colored over to give the right effect. Apparently it was the exact texture that they needed for this, so the people working on the assets just kind of ran with it. I really don't want to tempt the YouTube gods, so I will have the asset shown linked in a video down below on DidYouKnowGaming 2's channel, but it was confirmed by the former THQ employee to in fact be the asset that he was talking about. There you guys have it. 5 really random and disturbing and dark finds within SpongeBob video games. This is the kind of content that I constantly watch on YouTube, so if you guys want more videos like this, let me know by giving this one a thumbs up. I want to give a special thank you to my subscriber Cami for being a member of this channel. If you guys want to join my channel memberships, get 1 extra members exclusive video every single month, members only updates and photos and polls and badges and so much more. You can join by clicking the little join button. It should be somewhere around the screen. We would love to have you. For now, thank you all so very much for watching. If you did enjoy, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you so very much and I will see you in my next video. Bye!